Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in again this month. I'm going to do our monthly collective reading for November. I don't have much to say astrologically to you at this time, as I always start these videos off by saying that's kind of like an intermediate interest, so I know we're going to be moving into a new moon here soon. We just had the full moon and we won't be having any full moons in November, if I'm not mistaken. And all I can comment on the election is that the energy is very, very dense. I can just feel so much like anxiousness and depression on a lot of people, like both that I'm interacting with in the office, but as well as just going to the grocery store, just going about my normal duties and tasks. And it definitely just feels like, a heavy time. But as I encourage anybody, every time Scorpio season rolls around, which we're going to be in till about the end of the month, and then we'll get to move into some more lighter energy of Sagittarius. This time can feel really heavy, really murky. A lot of times we're confronting things that are really deep. Maybe buried deep, maybe subconscious beliefs, things from our past is definitely for me, like a lot of times Scorpio season and Mercury retrograde literally just ended. A lot of memories from the past. I have one in particular that seems to just love to keep coming up. And, instead of lashing yourself and beating yourself up over it, now's a good time to just look at it objectively. You don't have to understand everything. You don't have to make a decision about it. I think in our culture, especially in American society, we feel so much pressure to always know, to do, to perform. We have a very hard time just, being in that new moon energy of the void, of just sitting, unknowing, not sure where we're going. It's like we can't really, we don't handle that very well. But, it's so funny, as I said that, I just turned the deck over and this was at the bottom. Literally from spirit slips to my ears, I guess. I really would encourage, in any places that you can, take a little bit of time and space to be comfortable with not knowing what's coming next. Maybe start small. Maybe be comfortable with not knowing what you're going to eat for dinner tonight. I'm not saying this is life's work. This isn't done overnight, but use this time to reflect and view your life objectively. There's nothing you need to know, resolve, or solve today. So that's just my little 2 cents, and maybe I'm speaking for myself more than anybody else, but here we go. We're going to draw some cards, as I said, for the collective, just for any information for the highest and best of all who might be watching this video. I'd like to let you guys kind of watch this part if we can. I always think I should cut this part out because I feel like it takes so long, but okay, and one more card. That's an energy to lean into or guide us or tap into when we're particularly struggling this month. Okay, it's an interesting one. All right, so very first card we got, present moment, 10 of Wands. Right away, it's so pretty. This is a pretty straightforward reading. There's so many ways that we're overburdening ourselves, all of us, whether it be emotionally, mentally, to-do lists, tasks, chores, reminiscing and ruminating about that thing you did 5 years ago, 5 months ago, 5 minutes ago. It doesn't really matter. There's just so many things that we're carrying. The word that I keep hearing in my mind as I'm talking is worry, worry, worry and doubt, worry and doubt. There's just so much burden that we're carrying. A lot of it feels mental to me. I actually confirm that it's mental because subconscious, we have the King of Swords here. So collectively, you know, a lot of us, I mean, geez, I didn't even need to pull cards for this. I just had to go on social media, Instagram or Facebook, and I could tell you this already. A lot of us are so inundated with worry and doubt right now that we're actually kind of losing sight a bit of what's our truth, what's true for us. And I don't mean that to be discouraging. It's this King of Swords is coming up in the deeper position or subconscious position. So what I actually feel like Spirit is really saying and encouraging is, can you look around in your life? Where are you overburdening yourself with doubt and worry? It's not going to happen overnight. If you have a really true anxiety condition, you know, are prone to any sort of obsessive thinking, it's not sunshine and rainbows. This might be a mental task every day. Every minute you might have to continue to say, I hear those thoughts, but I don't want to engage with them right now. I need a break from them right now. I'm definitely not trying to make this sound light and fluffy. I have a lot of compassion as somebody who struggled with anxiety themselves at times in their life for what it's like to really feel the burden of the mind. The mind is a powerful, powerful tool, but it's like a sword. You know, most people who wield a sword sometimes cut themselves on accident, right? So can you remove some logs from that fire? You know, when we're overburdened mentally, we choke our creative fire out. It's just, think like building a campfire. When you put too many logs on it, it doesn't crackle and burn and have that magical feeling that fire has. So where can you find these worries and doubts, and can you just set them down or aside and say, not today? Because the more that you do that, the more that I promise you, you will connect with what is true for you, what is really your truth. And the more that you're in alignment with your truth, the easier it'll be to communicate it and verbalize it out to others. Because the more that we work through this process of unburdening ourselves, the more that we kind of come home to ourselves. And as we come home to ourselves and we really find that alignment and fulfillment in who we are, we don't feel so like worried about what other people are going to think when we say our truth, because we just know that it's true for us. So again, where can you let go a little? Maybe it is actually tasks. Maybe you need to ask your partner to make dinner for the rest of the week, or go to the grocery store so you can go on a walk, so you can meditate. Or if you need to cry in the bathtub because you're fucking scared, then do that, you know, but you need to make the space for yourself, because if you don't, it's going to be harder to really come into that alignment and home base of what is true for you. So that's what we got on the surface and deep. Surface and deep. What we're learning about collectively, it's how to rest, how to take a break, how to catch your breath in the midst of chaos. You know, we're not asking anybody to stop. For a lot of people, there's social justice issues that they're fighting for. I'm a healer, so maybe I don't necessarily want to like move out and be in the front line of fighting in a movement, but I definitely want to be on the sidelines passing out waters, making sure people have blankets. And even in the midst of doing all of that, this metaphor I'm talking about, we still have to stop and find times to catch our breath. We have to find times to just, because when you do that, you start to shift your nervous system from this heightened sympathetic state into a calm, soothed parasympathetic state. So again, it's all about being back in alignment and truth and on your home base. You can be out there. You can be, passionate and angered and feeling the need to fight, or you can be at home, maybe worrying, sitting with your blanket, checking, for refreshing your browser, looking at those poll results, whatever it is that's going on for you at this time. I'm not saying disconnect from it and don't be in it, la la la, love and light. That's not what's happening at all. We're just saying, while you're in it, can you stop for a minute and breathe? Catch your breath. Let yourself recenter, come back to home base, downregulate that sympathetic nervous system. This is going to be good for your physical health as well as your mental and emotional health. So we are learning how, in the midst of it all, to catch our breath and be still. And what they want us to pay attention to. I actually really, really love this for a pay attention to card. It's the 8 of Pentacles. I often refer to this as a harvest card, but what they want us to pay attention to is that there are so many things, and this feels a bit more like personal development to me than necessarily about where the country's at right now. Because again, my intention is that this is medicine for you as the individual watching this video. So while some of this may touch on things that we all collectively need to do, it also might be someone who's listening to this that it speaks to something personal that they're experiencing. So with the 7 of Pentacles, we're talking about trusting that the fruit is growing. It's just not ripe yet. The seeds have been planted. What you've asked for and what you're hoping to call in and what you're hoping to cultivate, it's coming. It's just, it takes time. We got to be patient. We decide to sign up for a marathon and expect to be able to run, what is it, 26 miles? Forgive me, I only went up to a half marathon. I'm only half crazy. But we expect to be able to do that a month after we signed up. We don't really have a lot of chill as human beings with egos, especially Americans, because it's just the way our country mindset operates. So we're just being asked to be patient with the process a bit more. This is, as I say every time, this is life's work we're talking about. When we're talking about soul medicine, we're talking about things that unravel and unroll over our lifetime through trial and error, through planting, sowing, and tilling the field and planting again. So know that the harvest of all that you wish to yield will come, but we got to stop trying to pluck those berries before they're ready to fall. So what you can lean into during this patience and this time that really does feel like moon energy of just being in the void, I actually get the 5 of Pentacles reversed. So 5 of Pentacles reversed to me is a promise that the lack that we feel is coming to an end. I also, with the 5 of Pentacles, feel like it's Spirit's kind of loving way of saying that maybe we've been caught up in a bit of lack mentality. Maybe we've been caught up in a bit of believing that there's not going to be enough for us, that we're not going to be provided for. And, I actually personally was struggling with thoughts like this myself this morning. And I had this really beautiful thought come into my mind sitting in my apartment, which is only 750 square feet. And looking around it and being like, my home is really small, but the things that I have in my home are nice. I have 3 wonderful loving animals, but one's a snake. So I think of the cat and the dog the most. But I have a warm bed that I sleep in every night next to somebody who loves me. So maybe I don't have, what I want in my bank account saved up, and maybe I don't have a home with a driveway and a garage and a yard just yet, or, I hope to be a mom someday, and that hasn't been called into my life yet. But looking at what I don't have is a great deterrent and detriment and detraction from the beauty of what I do have. So, it's that gratitude is the attitude stuff. And sometimes all we have to be grateful for is that we got to have a clean sock to put on today. But can you focus on the areas of your life where you can be more grateful, or where you have gratitude? And again, it's leaning into this trust that things will turn around. The harvest will come. Life is a cycle. There are seasons. One of the instructors that I've been trained under, her name is Lindsay Mack. She talks about life as a spiral a lot. It's not linear. I always like to say there's seasons to our lives. There are always going to be times where we feel a boom and a burst and a bust and an expansion, and then there are going to be times where we feel contraction. It's feast and famine. So I promise you, the universe promises you, Spirit promises you, the feast will come again. There will be a day. It might not be this year, it might not be next year, but there is the promise and the leaning into an energy that says, I will, there is enough for me. It is safe for me to receive. So when we're getting a little caught up in that lack mentality again, where can we unburden our doubts and worries so we can come back to our home base and be in alignment with our truth? Can we stop and catch our breath and maybe use a mantra? You're welcome to use mine, which is, I'm financially abundant and debt-free. When I feel those wheels start spinning, I have a professional degree. I didn't get here without some student loans. I'm financially abundant and debt-free is what I say, almost like a prayer to myself to kind of bring me back to this grounded place. And I want to end this all just by commenting, if none of you are familiar, I'm sure some people watching this are, with Abraham Hicks. I absolutely adore and love her. One of the things, Esther Hicks is her name, Abraham is the consciousness she channels. One of the things Abraham discusses a lot is lean into the thoughts that don't feel resistive. So, sometimes we're going to be in discomfort, but can we find the thought in the midst of all the discomfort, our breath, our thought that says, no matter what, I'm going to be okay. And whatever that thought looks like for you, you got to figure it out on your own. But can we follow the thoughts that feel more like a flowing stream as opposed to a blocked dam? So last but not least, I felt very called, I haven't done this for you guys yet, but to pull a card from this oracle deck I have. It's called the Lightworker Oracle. So I'm going to do that now, and we're going to end with that card. And one of these days I'll learn how to do videos under 15 minutes, but I don't think today is going to be that day. Okay, please just one card. Sometimes they want to give me multiple cards, and there we are. Okay, the card I drew is the Pink Rose of Lady Nada. This card says, you are in the midst of a heart healing, a healing of fears and anxieties that have held you back from enjoying your full magnificence. Lady Nada is here with all her gentle power, washing you in soft pink light. All anger, fear, sadness, bitterness, disappointment, and hurt are soothed and love into peace. She brings you a sign of your future blossoming into deeper love. So as to not take up too much time, I'm not going to read the full 2 pages that are in the book, but if that resonated with any of you, send me a DM and I will gladly send you pictures from the book so you can read further. But the real medicine in this card is it's a lot about forgiveness, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, and the word that I'm hearing again while I'm doing this is compassion. So, I go on Facebook and I don't see a lot of compassion from either side based on everything that's going on right now. And I think it's so important for us to remember that even though somebody maybe doesn't share the ideology that we do, they have a story, they have ancestral trauma, they have human needs just like the rest of us. And that's not to say that we need to agree with everybody. Some of us are here meant to fight the fight, don't get me wrong. But for our own sake, for our own health, for how good we feel when we're alone with ourselves and how aligned we feel in our truth, there does need to be an element of compassion, forgiveness we call in. That's not to say, I'm going to show compassion for that person and just let them be, nasty, and it's okay because I'm compassionate. It's more meant to say, I have compassion that they must not have learned how to love in the same way I've learned to love. It's just understanding that there's a different facet you can look through. Can you look through a lens of forgiveness and compassion? And another thing that I thought was really beautiful about this card, for those of you that do visualization exercises, one of the things that I'm getting a hit about right now is that when we're spending time trying to be feeling more grounded, more comfortable, and a bit better in our vibration and our energy, bubbling in pink light. That's going to be really, really helpful at this time. Pink light, pink quartz, rose quartz, pink flowers, whatever you like to visualize, surround yourself with. But when you feel yourself getting particularly rattled, nice big deep breath. Again, it's finding those moments to breathe and calling in some love and compassion for ourselves as well as others. So again, if you want the pages that exactly go with this card, there's also an invocation. Please send me a DM and I will be glad to send that to you. So that is all for now. I'll be back next month, and as always, I'm doing readings every Thursday, tarot and channeled medium readings. So please, please, please send me a message, call the office. I am always happy to connect and read for you. So have a good day. Good luck this month. I know it's going to be a tricky one. Be patient and breathe.